Just when I thought things could not get any worse at the worldwide leader in woke. Just when I thought ESPN's coverage of basketball couldn't get any more substandard. Just when I thought the hatred, the jealousy of Caitlin Clark couldn't be any more obvious. ESPN once again proves there is not an original thought at this network.
Did ESPN really just go on national television and say the Indiana Fever are better without Caitlin Clark? No, seriously, someone looked at the most impactful rookie in women's basketball history and said, you know what, maybe they're better off without her. That take wasn't just cooked, it was burnt to a crisp. But if ESPN wants to dish out hot garbage, then we're here to hand them the receipts. And trust me, there are plenty. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be wondering if ESPN even watches the games they talk about. Hit that like button if you're tired of lazy narratives and insanely stupid opinions, and make sure to subscribe to Spotlight WNBA for real talk, real facts, and zero fluff.
So lads, we just knew it was going to happen, didn't we? We just knew it was going to happen because it is dumb. Like, there are dumb people all around.
But to sit here and try to take Clark out the equation now, it's literally stupid. It was literally stupid. You know what I'm saying?
We got ESPN again, once again, making complete idiots out of themselves when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
It all started when ESPN's Carolyn Peck went on national TV and dropped this gem. I think the Indiana Fever are even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play. That's not just a bad take. That's a flaming meteor of nonsense crashing into the credibility of sports journalism. The timing? Clark had missed 2 games. The Fever won both. Suddenly, ESPN decided that 2 wins meant a complete indictment of their star guard. But let's rewind. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the Fever weren't dangerous. They were dead last. Bottom of the league. The franchise was a cautionary tale, not a contender. And now, 2 wins and a couple buckets later, we're rewriting reality. Even WNBA vet and analyst Rebecca Lobo called it out. This team has had years of losing. You don't turn that around in 2 games. Caitlin brings structure, attention, and growth. But ESPN, they saw a flash in the pan and called it a revolution.
Fever been on a tear. They've won 2 in a row, a 25-point blowout of the Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup final, and then 27 against the Aces in this one. And both of those games without Caitlin Clark. How is Indiana getting this done right now?
Look, I think that Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play because she's a ball-dominant guard. The ball's in her hands a lot, so you know what you need to try to take away. But when you look at Indiana now, they've got so many weapons.
What? Excuse me? Did I understand that correctly? Did she say the Indiana Felines are better without Caitlin Clark?
Let's break it down with cold, hard numbers. With Caitlin Clark on the floor, the Fever averaged 10 more points per game. That's not a rounding error. That's a massive offensive bump. According to WNBA stats, through July, Clark leads all rookies in assists, averaging 6.9 per game, and is top 15 overall in the league. She's literally making everyone better around her, yet somehow ESPN concluded she's the problem? Clark's gravity as a shooter stretches defenses. She's drawing 2, sometimes 3 defenders, opening up clear lanes for teammates like Nolissa Smith and Kelsey Mitchell. Even Smith said after a recent game, when Caitlin's on the court, I know I'm going to get better looks, and you could see it. When Clark's passing lanes open up, players feast, but when she's out, defenses collapse and force tougher shots. That's just basketball IQ, something ESPN apparently left at home that day.
There is no other media entity that hates them some Caitlin Clark like ESPN. Should not be surprising when you have followed their history for the last decade. And I'm talking about ESPN. That's exactly why, by the way, their ratings have steadily declined for the last decade.
And there's damn sure not a hint of original analysis at ESPN. This is the reason ESPN's credibility is in the pooper. This is one of the reasons that ESPN's influence is rapidly diminishing.
Another claim made by ESPN that the Fever move the ball better when Clark is out, as if Caitlin's ball handling is the reason the offense stalls. Seriously? This is a guard averaging nearly 7 assists a night, leading all WNBA rookies and surpassing many veterans. Her usage rate is high because she's the point guard. That's literally the job. That's like saying a quarterback throws too many passes. Kelsey Mitchell, the same player now being hyped as a solo act, has played years in Indiana. And you know what she didn't do during those years? Win. In fact, before Clark arrived, Mitchell had never reached the playoffs despite being a high-volume scorer. Caitlin's been feeding her open looks all season, and suddenly Mitchell's breakout games coincide with Clark's absence. That's not proof of Clark being the issue. That's just what happens when role players rise temporarily and the star's impact gets conveniently erased.
Here's Kelsey Mitchell, flips it to Howard, who lays it in. And Indiana.
Let's talk about defense, since that was the other argument. Apparently, Indiana plays better defense without Caitlin Clark. Again, 2 games were cited, wins against struggling teams like the Sparks and the Wings. The Fever held opponents under 60 points, and suddenly we're crowning them the 0-4 Pistons. But let's dig deeper. In 6 other games without Clark this season, the Fever gave up 90-plus points. Their defense looked like Swiss cheese, and when they lost to the Connecticut Sun without Clark giving up 89, no mention. As WNBA analyst Leachina Robinson tweeted, "You can't cherry-pick a couple good games and ignore the full picture. Defense is a team effort. Blaming one player is lazy." Exactly. The numbers don't support the take. They shatter it.
Can't believe that there are people going on national television, drawing paychecks, and putting poison on the airwaves that is literally coming from places like Twitter. Folks that are called Hall of Famers, legends of the game of women's basketball and coaching and playing. By now, I'm sure you've seen the sentiment going around that the Indiana Fever perhaps are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark.
You want to talk about turnovers? Fine. Clark turns the ball over, so does every high-usage guard. Trae Young, turnover machine. Luka Doncic lives in the turnover column. But you know what they also do? Win games, set tempo, control offense, just like Caitlin. Let's not forget, Caitlin Clark is a rookie, and despite being targeted every night, she's averaging nearly 16 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. You know what else she gets? Zero grace. She gets hacked, shoved, disrespected, and still shows up. And yet, ESPN and others act like the popcorn machine breaking at halftime must be her fault. Even Candace Parker said recently, what Caitlin's doing is hard. The target on her back is heavy, but she's handling it with poise. Yet somehow she's always the scapegoat.
So it turns out the Fever are not more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. Of course, that would have been true win or loss against the Los Angeles Sparks, a team they still should beat without CC in the lineup. But the fact that that was even put into existence when it's obviously false, and everyone who's ever watched basketball understands that.
This isn't about basketball anymore. It's about control. Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA's visibility overnight. Ratings are through the roof. Her debut pulled in over 2.1 million viewers, more than some NBA playoff games. Fever games are now national events. Away arenas are selling out because of her. Even Steph Curry said, "She's changing the game. That's what great players do." But ESPN, they want the old WNBA. Quiet, niche, controllable. Carolyn Peck didn't just say this once. She's made a habit of undercutting Clark. Remember when she argued Angel Reese should win Rookie of the Year because of rebounding? Ignoring that Clark was setting records and leading all rookies in almost every category? That's not analysis. That's an agenda.
For some reason, and I don't know why, but for some reason, when you have a platform, it comes with a certain level of influence. And with that influence comes responsibility.
Let's play the what-if game. If Clark never joined the Fever, what would the IE look like? Still near the bottom of the standings, still playing in front of empty gyms, still irrelevant on national TV, still asking for scraps of media coverage. Aaliyah Boston said earlier this year, "Caitlin's presence has lifted the whole team's profile. We feel it." Without Clark, the Fever would still be just another struggling franchise. With her, they're the story, and that scares people.
Wait. Y'all are sitting here trying to say the Fever play better without Clark? Are y'all serious? Clark was holding his team back? What? Are you serious? Come on, man. Let's stop playing games, B.
So let's bring it home. Is Caitlin Clark perfect? No. Is she still learning the WNBA game? Absolutely. But is she the problem? Not even close. She's the spotlight, and some folks in the media don't like what's exposed when the lights turn on. So the next time ESPN wants to float a take like the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark, they better come with more than 2 games of context and a handful of half-baked stats. Because the fans are smarter now, the players know the truth, and the receipts are always ready. So what do you think? Has ESPN completely lost the plot, or are we just watching jealousy in real time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button if you're tired of the media spin, and hit subscribe to Spotlight WNBA for more deep dives with real facts, no fluff. Because around here, we don't fall for hot takes. We melt them with truth.